Every year, thousands of business ideas are rolled out. Sierra Leone, Africa, the world, maybe hundreds of thousands if you want to expand it to the world. Ideas that never see the light of day. Never see the light of day. So one of the stuff I've been pondering over and been sharing over the last couple of weeks with the entrepreneurs we work with at the Body Shop. One of the stuff we run at Life by Design is we run an accelerator program that is helping young entrepreneurs in Sierra Leone to be able to give life to those ideas, or just check them whether they're actually business ideas. And this, one of the stuff we've been sharing is around what makes an idea a good business idea. Because not every nice idea is a business idea. What is it? And after we've had several discussions with clients and entrepreneurs we work with, we've come up with 4 points that we need to look at. The first test is the pain points test. The second is the market test. The third is the purchasing power test. And the fourth is the profitability test. And these are the 4 things I'll be going through today, so that if you have an idea, wherever you are, you have an idea, put them through this test. You begin to get a sense of whether it's an idea that will fly. Let's start with the first test. The first test is the pain point. The pain points test is for your idea to fly, for your idea to be a very good business idea. The first test it must pass is that it has to meet a very important needs in the lives of the people, the customers that you're targeting. It has to meet a very important need. And, discussions I've had continuously again with young men. So I have a package of tea leaf here from one of our budding entrepreneurs in the country, and there are a couple of those that are there. And as we proceed, I'll share with you some practical examples that we have of stuff that we're looking at. So once you're looking at, does this solution meet a very important need in the life of the clients and the people you're targeting? How important is this problem that you're trying to fix? It's a very important point that you have to answer. Now, there's this saying you must have heard that sometimes some solutions are vitamins and not painkillers. What's the difference between vitamins and painkiller? A painkiller, if you have pain in any part of your body, you can't rest until you fix it. You cannot. When do people take vitamins? It's optional. Not everybody cares about vitamins. Not everybody focuses their attention and says, I'll take vitamins. But if somebody has a pain, they can't stop, they can't move, they can't do anything until they heal that pain. And so your idea has to represent a painkiller in the life of the customers you're targeting. It has to be so important that if they don't solve it, they can't rest, they can't move on. Life can't go on for them, and not a vitamins. Vitamins, you take them, as and when you like. And one of the things that is attached to that is the frequency of the experience of the pain. If it's a pain they feel once a year, they would only need your product once a year. And not all products are big enough so that the price that you're paying, the price that people are paying, is sufficient enough to last the benefits that you could have for a year. For example, when people buy cars, they use cars for 4 years. But the outlay, what people pay for cars, is so huge, the capital invested in cars is so huge, that maybe the profits you make last a long period of time. So therefore, there has to be a frequency of the pain when they feel it that supports how frequently they would buy what you're selling to meet your business model. So again, the first point is pain point. Any problem you're trying to fix, it has to be something that represents an important problem in the lives of the people. Otherwise, it will be difficult for that idea. So your idea must fix a huge pain in the lives of your customers, of the people you're targeting, for it to be a good idea. Let's move on to the second test. The second test is the market test. And the market test simply asks the question, are there enough people that have this pain? Are there enough people? Maybe if it's just only you who's feeling that pain, you don't have a market. If it's only the people in your surrounding, in your environment that are feeling this pain, maybe you don't have a big enough market, because for an idea to be a good idea, you have to be able to have enough people having that problem, enough people having that need, enough people having that important and serious of a problem for you to be able to say that yes, this constitutes a nice and a business idea. Now, obviously, once you begin to go to the market and says, are there big enough people? You have to begin to think about substitute. Okay, if there are people out there, what are they using currently? If this pain is serious and important as it is, what are they using currently to heal that pain? Big question. What are they using currently? Can you compete with that product? Compete in terms of quality, compete in terms of price, and all of those things. You have to be able to test the market. Second test of your idea is a market test. Are there enough people that have that pain that can turn this idea into a viable idea? What are they using already? Can I compete with what's already in the market? The third test of any idea that you may have to test whether it's a business idea is the purchasing power. And what's the purchasing power test? The purchasing power test says the people you're offering this product to have the capacity to pay for it. They have to have the ability to pay for it. The people you're offering this product to, this idea that you're pushing out, they have to have the capacity to pay for it. Now, if not, if they don't have the ability to pay for it, this is where you may come up with a solution. It's a brilliant solution, maybe pass the pain point test, may pass the market test. If they don't have the purchasing power, then you may have to have a different model to deal with this, and that model could include getting people to subsidize that. And so that is why a lot of the time you have, whether it's from the government, they subsidize electricity. Government will tell you all the time they subsidize the production of electricity. People, if they were to unload the full cost of the electricity, the cost of production of electricity, it would be unaffordable for a lot of people. So it's subsidized. So you have to be able to now, if the people you're offering this to do not have the capacity to pay, you may have an idea, but it may not be a good business idea. The fourth point is profitability. The profitability test assumes that you've already passed these three tests. You've passed the pain points test, yes. This is for an important problem that people have, that, you know, they frequently have to deal with and fix. And it's not a painkiller, and it's not a vitamin, it's a painkiller. It's something, if they don't fix it, they don't move on. The market is big enough. I can compete with whatever products or ideas are already in the market. I can compete with them because I have a superior offerings I'm bringing in. And the people I'm offering them to can pay for this. They have the ability to pay for it. They have the money. They can afford to pay for this. Then you move to the fourth test, which is the profitability test. And the profitability test is checking on what is it going to cost me to produce this solution. And there are two types of costs that are involved. I'll give you an example. So there's direct production cost and indirect and operating costs. So let me tell you one of my clients who produces briquette, charcoal briquettes. And what they do is to use coconut shells and similar materials to produce charcoal that can be used for barbecue and those kind of stuff. What's the direct cost? And one of the things we're trying to work together in all of these things, of course, all these four tests have been carried out in that business. We struggle and we're pushing them to be able to say, okay, once you're talking about profitability, what's the cost of production? So we've worked with this with our client to detail all the steps that they have to go through to produce this. So she has maybe 6 steps. Each step has items that are needed, and including how long it takes to complete that. And so we total all the costs for each stage. There's transportation, there's the cost of getting the materials themselves. So where do you get this stuff? It's from Mabela or down at King Tom, the dump there. The dump site there, that's where they get it. Okay, once you put it together, what are the costs of that to move it to where the production is taking place? The production goes there. How long does it take to be able to go through this point? And what's the cost at this stage? Once you put all of these costs together, these are the direct costs of production. Direct cost of producing this. Now, if you go outside of this, you will start looking at the cost of the staff that she has, because she has people that are working there and that perform different kinds of roles. There are people who are involved in moving the stuff from King Tom, wherever she's getting this raw materials from. They are directly involved in the day-to-day operations. Those will come under direct cost. But imagine she now has to pay electricity for this space that they are using, but it's also part of the house. That would be indirect cost. Her salary, because she's not involved directly in production, sometimes or most times she's not really directly involved, other people are involved. If she's paying herself, her salary is an indirect cost. Now, the first test that a business has to pass is that the direct cost of production, whatever price you're charging, has to cover the direct cost of production. When it does that, the terminology we use is that you break even. That means I spend 1,000 leons to produce this thing, I can sell it for 1,000 leons. But obviously you want to do better than that. So the first test that it has, the first stage that you have to go through is that whatever it's costing you to produce, which is your direct production cost, whatever you're selling has to first of all cover that. Then you break even. But you cannot just have a business that breaks even because you have these other costs that you're incurring. They are indirect costs. These are, like I said just now, these are the costs that you need to be able to run the business in generally as yourself as a business. These are costs that you need to run the business generally. And so you have to be able to make sure when I sell, I can sell for a price that covers this cost and also covers my indirect operating costs. It's only then you will talk of profits. It's only then that you talk of profits. If your idea put together doesn't pass this test, there may be pain for people. It may represent a big pain for people. There may be enough people who want it. They may have the money to pay, but if what you are able to charge for this cannot cover your direct or indirect cost, it will be a good idea having passed this, but it's not a good business idea. And some of the stuff of you asking question what you have to do in this case, because it's already passed these 3 tests, it's big progress that you have made. You may have to now work on your cost. How do I make sure I can produce this cheaper? Particularly if you cannot increase your price. Particularly if you have substitutes, you have people already in the market, competitors who are giving a price that the market is already okay with, and you're coming newly, you have to be able to compete. Are you bringing in better quality, or are you bringing in a better price, a cheaper price, a more affordable price? You can't have more affordable price if you're struggling with your cost. So therefore, you have to now work on both. Work on your direct production cost, work on your indirect cost, so that at the end of the day, your idea produces a business that is profitable. I told you at the beginning that I was going to share with you some stories that I've had from my, diligent, determined entrepreneurs, friends that I work with all the time. And, I got a call from my young man the last time, and he said, he got this brilliant idea for takes a product to the market. Brilliant idea that will change not just his life, it will change the life of the entire family. And he said, what's the idea is that? And the guy said, it's, he called the name of the tea leaf, but it's actually a tea leaf. That's what, not tea leaf, the guy wanted to take to the market. And I said, okay, good. And he sent me a long stuff, and I sent him 15 questions. From what he said, I sent him some questions, and he came back to me with questions. Break down this question. Now, the question I want to share with you today, because you have to know how to test whether your idea makes sense. And so I said to him, young man, after I don't tell me all this brilliant thing about the business and the business idea, I said to him, okay, have you tested this product? And he said yes. And I said, okay, how much of this product that you don't produce and test? Of this tea leaf, how much you don't produce and test? Well, he says, well, he produced 150 sachet of the tea leaf. 150. Okay, cool. Nice. 150 sachet. Who that's not the people that we test this tea leaf with? Well, it's not people in our area. You need for just test first the market. Do I have a market? Forget what for the pain. I will come back to you for the pain and talk about the pain. But let's talk about the market first. What do you test? 150 people. Now you test 150 people. Okay. 150 people. Where are they? Who's are them people and they based? Now in environment, now just around the area. So around the area, now they them people are so 150 now you test. In the environment. Around the house, around the property, around the side they live. Okay. I said, waiting at the feedback we get from these people. Do you have a list of the people? How much did each of them test? How much you give them? A 5 you give? If 150 tea bags now you test, how much people they give them to? And how much you give each of them? Big question. But of course, this kind of details you for go through. Do you have a list of the people? Well, no, it didn't take a list. Do you have a list of the people? Do you have their comments and feedback? Where this person tastes like, I like this tea, then compare with another tea, and therefore say, I think your own tea better pass this tea, and therefore I like your tea. I think say in any day I take you tea. Big question. Do you have the list? No. And there's another stuff. So if you don't have the list, okay, so how do you know? How would you be able to get feedback from the people? Obviously, now there's a fault there. Automatically there's an issue there. Now, so we move from that and says, okay, you not get a list of people, you not get the feedback. Now, let's test first how much of a pain TLIF be for the people then are you area. The people that we test them with. One of the ways that we able for know. So first of all, so you get the pain. Let's answer two questions here. You get the pain and purchasing power. Purchasing power. Let's put pain and purchasing power first corner here. And then who's all the other one then? Pain, purchasing power, now market. So pain, market, purchasing power before you talk about profitability. Now, so let's have this at the corner here. So, and I said to him, okay, how much of a pain is TLIF to the people then within your environment? And based on side, they are up some uphill, and straight away, say the people then within the environment where they test this would really most 80% of them na colorless than they eat, and not to tea then they drink in the morning. Because they can't afford tea. Tea is far away of them. So that means to these people, tea and this tea leaf for this guy they try for process and produce, it wouldn't be a pain. It would be vitamins. It would be something where they're okay now before they bring tea, because once they get that they colorless, and then they warm in the morning, or if not to colorless, then they cook fresh in the morning, shape for everybody's, because that even time they come back now also can eat. So therefore it's not a big enough pain. And do they have the money to pay? He could have tested whether they can get the money for pay. Are you able for no? Now, your ability for, say, once they don't test and they says, I want this. So, for example, when they tell you 100 person test, they say, all right, supply me 50 sachet every week. 50 sachet every week, supply me. Then they put in order. That is when they have the purchasing power. Really, they get the ability for pay. And then book to you. Say supply, then put in an order for supply. That's when they test them purchasing power. Anyone panel people have to book and put in an order of things so for produce for supply there. No, if you don't have that, it's still question. There's big question mark in terms of whether it's a pain, whether you still have a market. And obviously we talk about the market just now, competition. Is how much still live in at all? So if not tea that you want for make, that tea they has to be so different, so extraordinary, and you have to have a market of people who need the tea. If the tea, is so healthy and stuff, you want to be able to know who that they need. So where's the market? Where are they? Who are the specific people? How do I access them to be able to do this? So you're bringing new tea to the market. There's already competition from all kinds, from Dilma and all the one in Lipton. People only make tea for the last 100 years. Are they the ones you want to compete with? Big question. So again, not for bust your balloon, not to bust around bust your balloon, but these are the stuff you need for able for think about, for able for make up your mind and test whether this idea that we try for bring kind of the market, whether that idea they get life, whether the idea they able for fly. You get any question or you get any product to you for test and you don't know how for test them, put your comments below, contact you see contact numbers there, contact you below with all the numbers them waiting at the screen, and we will come back to you with your answer.